So I recently went out to some local dealers because I wanted to test ride 3 motorcycles that fit a specific niche. I was looking for neo-retro styled bikes that cost less than 5,000 euros. The reason for this is that I'm going to raffle one off, but that's for my Spanish language channel and only those living in Spain are eligible, so we'll put all that aside for the rest of this video. The 3 bikes I decided to test ride are the Zontes GK350, the Royal Enfield Hunter 350, and the VOGE 350AC. Most people around the world will probably be more familiar with the Royal Enfield, the once British and now Indian motorcycle brand that claims to be the oldest in existence with continuous production. The other 2, by contrast, are new Chinese brands that are hoping to make it big worldwide in the years to come. All 3 of these bikes are now available in most major European markets. I recorded my test rides in Spanish, and that means that for this video I'll have to be a little creative. So I've decided to do a quick summary of what I felt on each bike and then conclude with my opinion on which of the 3 I would purchase if I were to keep it. Zontes GK350. This motorcycle starts with a slight disadvantage in my test ride for 2 reasons. First, since I hadn't tested a motorcycle in this segment before, I wasn't capable of using it in the best way. In other words, I'm used to big displacement, low revving motorcycles, and this is a small motorcycle that works better at high revs. Second, the test ride itself was shorter, with more traffic and virtually no chance to ride it at higher speeds. Its main advantages are almost all electronic. It's the only one with a 5-inch TFT dash, and this allows it to have 4 different display modes. In fact, this is very important because the screen can mirror your mobile phone, so by transposition, it has GPS. It's the only one with keyless ignition, as instead of this, it uses a proximity bracelet. This also means that the fuel tank doesn't have a key and is opened with a button on the handlebar. It's the only one with TPMS, which is the electronic tire pressure and temperature monitoring system, and it also has 2 USB ports, which isn't bad at all. Its main disadvantages for me are, on the one hand, the position, which is not stable because the seat tilts downward, and as a result I always end up on top of the tank. On the other hand, it's the heaviest of the 3 and seems to carry the weight up high, so it felt a bit stiffer than the others. Another small disadvantage is that, although it has 2 USB ports, they're not as accessible as the USB ports on the other 2 motorcycles. Royal Enfield Hunter 350. Unlike the other 2 motorcycles I test rode, the Hunter 350 likes to rev low, and this is a lot more familiar to me due to my biker background. Another particularity of this test ride is that, even if it wasn't the longest one, it was the only one done on a Saturday morning, which meant better weather and less traffic flow. These may seem like small details, but everything counts when the time to make decisions is so limited. The main advantages of this motorcycle, in my opinion, are especially subjective. What I mean is that it's the least powerful and has the least modern technology of the 3, but it's also the one that transmits more positive and irrational sensations to me. Personally, I think it's the most attractive one, and a large part of this is because of its 100% British style focus, and because it gives the impression that it doesn't have any plastic parts. Beyond that, it offers the most color options, is the most comfortable of the 3, and seems to be the best option for riding 2 up. As for its drawbacks, everything can be summed up in the fact that it has slim to non-modern technology. For example, it doesn't have a single one of the components I mentioned when detailing the positives of the Zontes. Well, it does have USB port on the handlebars, but that's as far as its modernity goes. It doesn't even come with the popular Tripper navigation module we've seen in the new Enfields, although it'll be available as an add-on soon. Aside from its tech limitations, it's also the slowest of the 3. Its maximum speed of approximately 130 km per hour is about 30 km slower than what the other 2 can achieve. VOGE 350AC. I had the fortune of a much longer test ride with this bike, and that conditions my final opinion because it's given me the possibility to see more things that I wasn't able to analyze in the other 2 tests. Let's say that each test has been a little bit more complete than the previous one, mainly due to length, but also because each one had more reference points than the one before. The main advantage of this motorcycle is undoubtedly its engine, since it's the only twin-cylinder, while the other 2 have single-cylinder engines. This engine is smaller, 322 cc's compared to the 348 and 349 on the other bikes. This makes it the lightest of the 3, with the advantage that the additional cylinder allows it to have more power and torque. In other words, it weighs less, rides faster, and moves better. In terms of technology, it's not as advanced as the Zontes, but it has a 5-inch LCD dash and a USB port on the instrument panel, as well as full LED lighting. Another advantage are its elongated mirrors, which provide better visibility than the round ones on the other two bikes. The main disadvantage of this motorcycle for me is the riding position. I was surprised to feel cramped in it after 40 minutes of testing. In fact, this bike is smaller than the others, and I dare say it was basically designed for people who are less than 100 centimeters tall, or about 5'7" in imperial units. If that's your case, then congratulations, this motorcycle will fit you like a glove. But for an average height rider like me, the position isn't the most pleasant on medium or long rides. My choice. Before I get into this last section, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell. As for my opinion, I don't think it's much of a surprise to anyone who was paying attention that I prefer the Royal Enfield Hunter 350. My reasons are that it's the most attractive for my taste and the most comfortable for my intentions as a mostly recreational and weekend biker. It's also the slowest, but honestly, that's not a problem for me. But I will also say that if I was looking for an urban mobility solution to get me from home to work and back, then I'd rather take the VOGE 350AC. Yeah, the Zontes has more electronic gadgets, but the VOGE seems more fun. As neither of them seems especially comfortable, I prefer the one that moves better. Don't forget to leave some comments on whether you agree with my choice or not, and why. Also, I'm interested to know if these bikes are already available in your country, so please let me know if that's the case. Bye!